Okay, so moving right along with the Caiaphas report. Now, I'll just read a little bit. This is from chapter 6 of the Article volumes, report of Caiaphas to the Sanhedrin concerning the execution of Jesus. Records of the Jerusalem Sanhedrin by Eliezek Haikan. And it says B24, taken in Constantinople, October the 16th, 1883. Caiaphas, priest of the Most High God, to the masters of Israel, greeting. In obedience to your demands for a reason for my action in the case of Jesus of Nazareth, and in defense of my conduct, I beg leave to submit the following for your consideration. I would assure you that it was not on account of personal malice, envy, or hate that existed in my own nature, nor for the want of a willingness upon my part to conform to the Jewish law in its strictest sense. I had but very little personal knowledge of the Nazarene. The most I knew of this man was from outside sources, nor was it because he claimed to be king of the Jews, nor because he said he was the Son of God. I would that he were, nor because he prophesied or ignored the holy temple. No, nor all of these combined. There is a cause and a more weighty matter back of all these things that controlled my action in the matter. Therefore, I hope you will investigate strictly on legal principles the reasons that I may give. So he outlines his reasons for him in order that you may be able to see and weigh the question fully and remember the responsibility that rests upon me according to the laws of our nation. I will ask you to go back with me to the chronicles of our history as a commonwealth. First, our faith is pledged to one living and true God, this God being indescribable, unchangeable, incomprehensible, and of course, unnameable. But yet in our daily communications with and our applications to him, he has been pleased to give us his name or his several names according to his relations to us, and they are found nowhere, only in the ark of his holy temple, there where he presents to us his strength and power. He goes on to describe the names that are given to, what he's talking about is the name of Yahweh, or Yah, J-A-H, which has been removed from the King James Bible, all but one mention of it in Isaiah. His name, Yah, knowledge that comprehends without being comprehended. I'm not going to read through all of this. It's a discussion he has. He's pleading his case about the names and his understanding or the understanding of Israel about the nature of God. He goes on to talk about Moses and Abraham and, of course, the ordinances and all of the temple rituals that were so dear to them. These were people who could not begin eating meal without having gone through the ritual of washing their hands ceremonially and drinking from a cup without wiping it, etc., etc., etc. So Jesus came along and upset them royally when he ate without washing his hands, and then he looked at them and says, well, he talked about a man being clean from the inside out, not the outside in. So as Jesus, he came and taught the ordinary people and gave them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that left the Jewish mind in upheaval. They didn't know how to cope with this rebel. First, the people to whom he preached were an ignorant set and knew but very little about doctrine of any kind. They were a restless sort of men who were always finding fault and wanting something new and never associate with the more enlightened part of the community in order to learn. Another reason of his having many followers is his doctrines are congenial to unsanctified flesh. So with the Jew, it was all about the ceremony, the traditions. They had 613 laws, if you like, that the people, it made life burdensome for the people because the people could never satisfy them. And they're so suited to human nature that they require no sacrifices. They need not go to the temple to worship God. They need not fast. And they can when and where they please. They need pay no tithes. Hello, this is what we told the Fijians and the people in Papua New Guinea. The meek of the earth who are burdened with having to pay tithes to the priesthood, the preachers who are have bank accounts in Fiji. The ministers there for all of the island, their cumulative bank accounts totaled 20 million kina. And Frank Bainimarama put a freeze on it as the people were selling their furniture to build buildings every few miles over the whole island. Okay. They need paid no tithes to keep up the temple or the priesthood. Yes, in the Muslim world, 10 families can get together and decide to build a mosque, and that's exactly what they do. Absolute insanity. As Jesus, he said to go into a secret place, into a closet, in other words, somewhere secret, away from everybody else, and pray silently, in secret, so that nobody else can hear you. It's the angels who hear the prayers, and they're the ones to bring answers to them. This loud howling noise and making a show of everything is totally the opposite to the teaching of Jesus, which is another reason that he was crucified. Okay, all of this, they need not fast, they need pay no tithes to keep up the temple or the priesthood, but every man can be his own priest and worship God as he chooses. All this is so compatible with human nature that although he has not been preaching over 3 years, he has more followers today than Abraham has, and they have become perfectly hostile towards the Jews that are faithful to their God. And if it had not been for the Roman soldiers on the day of his execution, we would have had one of the bloodiest insurrections ever known to the Jewish Commonwealth. I am told that there was never seen such a concourse of people assembled at Jerusalem as at the cross. One of my guards informs me that there were several 100,000. And although, now that can't be right, that part there, because it was one of his soldiers that informed him. Anyway, I'll just read what the script says. Several 100,000, and although there were 2 others crucified at the same time, Jesus was the great center of attraction. They would call out, "Who is this Jesus of Nazareth, and what is his crime?" Some of his friends would cry out, "Nothing, he is being executed because he was a friend to the poor. Take him down, they would cry out. And the soldiers would have to use their spears to keep them back. But when he yielded up the ghost, he proved to all that he was, the word is hypostatical, that is a human body, and that the Lodi Kurios had come from the Icelandic covenant, and his Trinitatis Unitas was all a sham. For how could this unpronounced name suffer or be captured by men or die, unless he is the one that is to die for the many? And that's exactly, he hit the nail on the head then, but he didn't know what he was doing until after. And if so, I was only accomplishing God's holy purposes, which exonerates me from guilt. Okay, so this is the report. It goes, at one point, he